Hello Star Citizens, Buzzkiller here, and welcome back to another Star Citizen dual stick tutorial. One of the most popular sticks used in a dual stick configuration is the Thrustmaster T16000M, and there's two primary reasons for this. First is the stick's high quality at a low cost point. Second, it's one of the few truly ambidextrous sticks on the market. So in today's video, I'll be showing you how to map your ship's throttle to your T16000M's Y-axis using the included target software. In this tutorial, I'll be covering two possible use cases. The first will cover a dual T16000M setup, and the second will cover those of you using a T16000M as your left stick with another joystick on your right. Of course, if you're left-handed and prefer the throttle to be on your right stick, you can easily adapt these instructions to accommodate that setup as well. Now obviously, before you get started, you want to make sure that both of your joysticks are plugged in and working properly. For those of you with two T16000Ms, check the bottom of the joystick. On the base there's a small switch for left-handed and right-handed. Make sure to set that switch accordingly. Next, you'll want to install Target. If you don't have Target, you can check the link in my description of this video below. Or you can go to the Thrustmaster.com website, click on Support, Download, search for your product, and then click on Software. The very bottom link is Target. Once you've installed Target, make sure it's set to run in administrator mode. You can usually tell by this small icon on the shortcut. If it's not there, right-click the icon, go to Properties, Compatibility, and click the bottom check mark. Then press OK or Apply. Once you start the program, you'll come to this main screen. It'll show you which Thrustmaster products you have installed. In my case, I have a T16000M and a Warthog. If you have two T16s, one of them will be indicated as the left stick. Now the next thing we want to do is create a new configuration. You do that by pressing this button here. That opens this dialog box where you can name your profile whatever you want. And make sure to set it to Advanced. And then click OK. On this screen, we're selecting which joystick we want to configure. And the only joystick we want to configure is the throttle joystick. For me, that's the T16000. Now if you have two T16000s, you can see that one is designated as the left stick. Of course it's disconnected for me, but it should be connected for you. So that would be the one you want to select. So once you make your selection, just click the next button. Now this window is for configuring your joystick's axes. And if you're using your throttle joystick to strafe as well, I highly encourage you to put a small dead zone on both those axes. Now the x-axis is usually the one that you're going to put your strafe on, so we're going to want to put about a 30% dead zone in the center of that axis. Do the same for the y-axis. Now the reason why I do this, and again this is completely optional, is because when you're throttling forward, this joystick is so sensitive that the slightest move to the left and right will cause you to move in that direction as well, and this kind of helps you mitigate that and allows you to fly straight and true. Once you're done, click Next. Okay, so this screen is where all the magic happens. You can do all kinds of things in Target, like setting up your joystick buttons to emulate keyboard presses or setting up shift keys. But what we're interested in is the script. So click the View Script button here, and here you can see our current configuration. Now unfortunately you can't edit this directly. For some reason Target likes to overwrite any changes you make to the script. So what we're going to do is we have to find out where this file is located and edit it directly. Now it's hidden in your app folder, or app data folder, which is hidden. So the best way is to click Save As and come up here on the address bar, right click this, and copy this address as text. Go ahead and cancel this out. We'll close this. Open up a new Explorer window and paste that address in here. And here you can see dual stick. This is the name of the profile we're making. So I'm going to right click and make sure to open this with WordPad. Now what we need to do next is input a bit of code that effectively binds your joystick's slider axis to the forward half of the Y axis. In order to do that, I have some handy dandy code here, and all this code again will be available. Just look in the description of this video below. You'll find all the download links for all of this. So I'm going to copy this entire line of code, the tab and all, and right here in your configuration file you see this default mapping. Just above that I want to add this code. Now I'm going to go ahead and just save that. Don't save as, because you'll change the file format. Just save it. It'll give you a little warning box here. Click yes. And then we can close this out. Now, as I said, Target likes to overwrite your scripts, any custom script changes you make. So what you need to do is right click on the file, click Properties, and set it to read only. Okay, now that that's done, let's view the script one more time. And if you did everything right, you'll see that line of code in there. So we are good to go. Now we just go ahead and click Finish, and yes. Okay, so we're back here at the main screen, and if you go to this area here, make sure you're in the Custom tab, not the Stock tab, you'll see that your configuration is in the list. So all we have to do is click it and click the Run button. Now that script is running. So what you need to do from here is start up Star Citizen and set up your bindings in the key binding menu. Okay, so I've just loaded up Star Citizen Alpha 2.6. I'm going to go into the Options menu, click on Key Binding, select the joystick, and click Advanced Controls. Now I'm going to scroll all the way up and find Flight Movement. And I want to make sure that all of my joystick axes are set up how I want them. Now, if you have a previous keybind, a custom keybind, you probably want to go through and change them and make sure they're still set correctly, because when you use this target script, it changes your joystick IDs around, so you'll have to fix that. But for now, I just want to focus on the pitch axis, yaw axis, all that. So let's start off with pitch, and that's on my right stick. So I'm going to push forward on my right stick and bind that, and you can see that's set to input 3. I'm going to go to yaw, and that's on my right stick as well. The X axis. Now roll is actually on this stick for me, so I'm going to bind that. Now for throttle, you want to make sure you set it to throttle absolute, not throttle relative, but you want to set that to your slider. So I'm going to double click this and give it the slider. I'm going to go through, I'm going to go ahead and remove all the strafe up down stuff. My strafe up down is actually on my pedals. I set those up later. Strafe left and right. Strafe left and right, most people put their strafe left right on the stick as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put left right on the X axis. Now also you need to make sure that strafe forward back is set to the joystick Y axis. Now it might give you the slider, but if you pull back it should just give you the Y. So there you go. And then just go through and set all of your decoupled settings the same, or however you want to set them. And next we're going to move into some Arena Commander. Okay, so here we are in Arena Commander, and I just want to make sure that all my throttle settings are working correctly. Now bear with me, my webcam video is a little bit desynced from the gameplay. I haven't figured out how to fix that. So the first thing I want to check is to make sure that my slider is working as throttle. So I push forward, and you should see on the HUD that the throttle increases to 100, and when I pull back, it goes to 0. Next, I want to make sure that the joystick is doing the same thing. When I press forward, it goes up to 100, and when I release it to the center, it goes to 0. Now if you set strafe forward back in your settings, pulling back should send you in reverse. Now the way this works is the only time that the throttle indicator is affected by the joystick is if the throttle slider is set to 0. If you bump this throttle slider up to say 50% or so, well, there's 60, and you push forward on the joystick, you can see the throttle indicator does not change, but you do increase speed. That's because the strafe forward back is also bound on the Y. You can do the same by pulling back. You won't go full speed in reverse because the throttle will be acting against you. So again, if you see that's happening, just make sure that your throttle slider is set all the way to 0. And then you should have your full range of motion on your joystick. Okay, so if you ran into any problems during the test, it's usually due to inversion settings. Like say your throttle, when you pull all the way down on the slider, is going to 100 and all the way up is 0, or your strafe forward and back is backwards. When you pull back, it goes forward. Stuff like that. You can find that in the options menu under control options and find the correct joystick. For me, it's joystick HOTAS 1. And if it's a problem with strafe forward back, you can invert this setting here. Or if it's a problem with the throttle, you can change it here. Now, as you can see, I did have to change the throttle absolute to yes on the inversion settings. And usually that'll fix most of your issues. If you're having any other issues, feel free to post in the comments and I'll try to help you out as best as I can. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a long time coming. I know a lot of you were asking me for it, so I hope it met your expectations. I hope you get everything working correctly. And if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Until next time, this has been Buzzkiller, and I'll see you in the verse. Hello Star Citizens, Buzzkiller here, and welcome back to another Star Citizen dual stick tutorial. One of the most popular sticks used in a dual stick configuration is the Thrustmaster T16000M, and there's two primary reasons for this. First is the stick's high quality at a low cost point. Second, it's one of the few truly ambidextrous sticks on the market. So in today's video, I'll be showing you how to map your ship's throttle to your T16000M's Y-axis using the included target software. In this tutorial, I'll be covering two possible use cases. The first will cover a dual T16000M setup, and the second will cover those of you using a T16000M as your left stick with another joystick on your right. Of course, if you're left-handed and prefer the throttle to be on your right stick, you can easily adapt these instructions to accommodate that setup as well. Now obviously, before you get started, you want to make sure that both of your joysticks are plugged in and working properly. For those of you with two T16000Ms, check the